Hello, everyone. We're halfway through week 4, and now we'll be talking about ethical dilemmas. And I'll talk about what we call the can collector and a public servant's dilemma. I'll give you the background story, then the fact-finding discovery process. We'll discuss duty, and then go into ethical analysis. So you're in the public sector. You're in the public sector. You're a department director overseeing the parks department, and you have a dilemma. Your employees are park maintenance workers, and they're doing their normal duties, but they're also collecting discarded aluminum cans and plastic bottles during working time and recycling them for personal profit on personal time. And looking at the stakeholders, you have your employees, the employees involved in the situation, as well as their colleagues who are not involved. You have the employer, which in this case is a government entity. You have the union because they collaborate with the employer to work on memorandums of understandings and government policy. Then you have the public, whom the government entities ultimately serve. Now we're going to talk about duty. So you're a public-facing department head, and you have your organization's expectations, which is to maintain, keep the park clean for public use, and provide a safe, clean place for the public to come and participate in recreation. Now, your profession standards is to uphold, as a government employee, is to uphold uh, ethics. You want to avoid conflicts of interest. You have in your profession, if you're going to work for the government, you typically have to use that position as your singular source of income, and there are limits on outside sources of income for work. And your profession also limits the amount of time used for personal gain. Your time used in service of the public is ultimately only for the service of the public and not for personal service. Looking at the ethical approaches, so we have results-oriented utilitarianism. So from a utility perspective, if your employees are collecting cans and plastic bottles, they're still technically doing their job. That is one of their job roles, in addition to other, they could fix the benches and repaint curbs, things like that. But they also want to keep the park clean. So from a utility perspective, it doesn't seem like it's a bad thing ethically for them to participate in this. In fact, because they're getting personal profit in addition to their salary, they seem to be more motivated to clean up more discarded cans and bottles. Now, looking at Kant principle-based and categorical imperatives, you rationalize that no matter what the case it may be, even though the government entity is not gaining any profit from recycling, they just allow the recycling company come and take it away, and the county's not, the government entity's not profiting from it. You're thinking, okay, no harm, right? But it's the principle. You go to work for a public agency specifically to serve the public, not to serve yourself. Based on that, you come to the conclusion that they're only going to use the time to do your role in service of the public, and you're going to avoid anything that could be construed otherwise. So you have your options as the department director. You can allow the employees to continue. You can see, okay, well, technically they're not harming the public, so I'm going to allow them to continue. Or you could discipline the employee, categorical imperative, they're violating policy, they're violating their duties as a public servant, and we need to discipline them accordingly. Or you could take a look at the policy and update the policy to make to be more lenient, allow some leeway for certain things where if they are gaining personal profit in the usual business of their job role, then it may be okay. That's the third option. Ultimately, I've seen that they would go with disciplining the employee. Government agencies, they are beholden to the public and they must be consistent. They cannot allow special treatment for certain employees and update policy here but not update policy there when there's a violation. And therefore, the option will be to discipline the employees. Thank you for viewing. This concludes week 4's presentation. I look forward to seeing your guys' presentations this week. Thank you.